Welcome to the Rivalry Weekly. There will be timestamps to the different topics if you want to skip ahead. First up, everybody's favorite topic, Fortnite. Now, WSOE is this new tournament series that is doing a series of tournaments across a bunch of different esports. And so they're not just tying themselves to one, they're really expanding and doing a lot. So their first event was Dota, and then we saw them do a Hearthstone event, I believe December 20th and 21st, that we'll talk about in a bit. And then they did a Fortnite event. So we haven't seen a lot of Fortnite events in this kind of format yet. So most Fortnite events have been this combination of professional players and influencers and celebrities. The play level is still very, very high, but it hasn't been that hardcore esports focus that we kind of have come to expect from, you know, CSGO, Dota, League, that side of things. And so we haven't seen the very, very serious esports approach that WSOE kind of took here. And so this was interesting to see. Now, this is a great tournament series that I can't wait to see more from, but unfortunately, Epic didn't really decide to be the most supportive of this tournament. They launched a rather big patch right before the tournament. So if you remember our last episode, we talked about the Infinity Sword that dropped on the day of the $1 Million Winter tournament. And they decided to drop another patch with a new item called the BOOMBOX, which I believe destroys structures and you have to stop to shoot it to destroy it. And so this is the day of WSOE, which is supposed to be a very, you know, serious competitive Fortnite tournament. And so as Slasher said on Twitter, Epic has decided on the morning of today's $100,000 WSOE Fortnite LAN to add another new huge game-changing item, the BOOMBOX. Not only does it change the game, it might even lag the server. Fortnite esports. Not said in the most complimentary fashion there. And then Nahaz, who has never said that Fortnite should be like all other esports, does say that Epic is hindering third-party tournaments and putting WSOE in a hard position by dropping such a big patch like this on the day of a tournament. If we look at how other developers handle it, so Hi-Rez pretty much handles everything internally, the same with League, and so they can push patches around their tournaments. And then Valve has definitely pushed patches during Dota tournaments and during CSGO tournaments, but they are improving on that front. And so that's a decision that Epic is going to have to make if they want to support third-party tournament organizers or if they want to keep everything in-house for Fortnite. So the next year might be rather telling about where Fortnite's going to go. But we can go back to WSOE and talk about some of the results and what happened. So WSOE has taken a different approach to how they do esports. So in their Dota event, they had, I believe, like a really famous boxing announcer, and they have a halftime show, and they bring in non-esports people for some of the content, and it's definitely a different way of doing things. And so there are some great plays, and there are also some great broadcast moments. So take a look at what happened.
Instinct at this moment to just stay alive, then get ready for this next rotation, which goes out even further. Oh boy, this is going to be interesting.
This is where competitive experience really shines here. Players like Rosero know exactly what to do, either hold high ground or get ahead of the storm, push players back. You see players like Saf right there. He was pushing players back. Saf finds himself an Elam there as well. Morg finds Sean. So Morg, another player that knows what to do here, catches Aspect, catches Karos. Morg is lighting up the feed here. Saf catches it.
He's on the ground. We're worming back here. Yeah. Still flossing over here. I like it. Keep it going. More dances. More dances. Keep it rolling.
The winner of this fight will definitely dictate how this goes. And Sam is going to go down.
By Cease.
By Cease. That
Number
is
one player.
massive.
That's a deny right there. Saying, no, we're taking you out. You're not getting points right there. But his teammate is still up. Cease and Elevator now in the rotation. If they can knock out that second teammate of Rux here, Rux is gone
Rux
now.
Is done. That's it.
That's going to secure them at least a step ahead of the second place team, making it one step closer to being first place for a season.
Oh no, it's time.
It's in.
You did the math. My favorite part.
The numbers are in. The moment everyone's been waiting for. We can crown our WSOE champions. It's official. It's Cease and Elevate have come through and done it right at the end. Yes! The baby-faced assassins! Can you
believe the story. Gangstar Cease, who has risen in the ranks of competitive Fortnite in the last 5 months, does it. He shows up with confidence, with aggression, plays his heart out alongside the young man.
So those were some very excited players. And one of the interesting things about Battle Royale is you never actually, or you usually, don't know who has won until they tally up the points after the last match ends. And so those guys are just sitting there waiting for it to be announced that they won WSOE. And so Cease and Elevate, so Ghost Gaming player and then Elevate, took first place. That's $40,000 from the $100,000 prize pool. So pretty awesome win for them at their, at the first WSOE Fortnite. So hopefully we'll see them back at the next one. And then second place was Saf and Zate. Third, Lamar and Morgaz, and fourth, Sam and Ruxru. My apologies if I do not pronounce these correctly. But it was a really cool event. As you saw there, there was a proposal, and there was a lot of young kids, which you see at DreamHacks. You don't necessarily see at other events because they're not really playing the games yet. But as we know, Fortnite definitely spans a lot more age ranges, and apparently I don't know a ton of kids that would dance in front of a crowd, but they really wanted to go and floss or whatever the Fortnite dances are called. So it was a cool event to see, and it had good crowd participation, and proposals are always fun to watch, even if they're a little weird. It's always entertaining. As there was a really cool tournament, and it was fairly well done despite the BOOMBOX struggles and Epic and everything. So overall, WSOE seemed to go off without a hitch, and we don't know what the next installation is in this series, so we'll just have to wait and see what WSOE has in store for us next. Now, kind of on the topic of Fortnite, there was an ad run by Red Bull on behalf of Ninja's stream. He live streamed Fortnite, I believe, from Times Square, and there was a Twitch ad that ran on other Twitch streams, advertising Ninja's stream. Now, one of the most taboo things in the world of Twitch is to advertise somebody else's stream while someone is live streaming. You should not be kind of actively talking to their viewers and advertising your own stream. So this was very odd behavior, and it made a lot of people very upset, obviously. So Dr. Disrespect was just like, Twitch, get these ugly ads off of my page. Man vs. Game made the joke, hey, Twitch, if you're running competitor ad on streams, when are you going to start running Watch Mixer ads? So that was, a little bit of snark coming out from the streamers. And then Sir Scoots kind of chimed in and was like, listen, guys, if you pay Twitch money, they can run an ad. Take a look at your contracts, get a lawyer. And unfortunately, that ends up being the story for a lot of things in esports and gaming these days. A lot of deals were built on goodwill and mutual understanding and kind of unspoken rules. And now, as more and more money, venture capitalists, third-party, non-endemics sort of enter the space, we're going to see a lot of these rules and the way things are done kind of change. So Twitch got paid by Red Bull to run this ad. And what you'll notice is that now this information that it is Red Bull I'm getting off of people I trust on Twitter, essentially is where the news is from. I believe Sir Scoots mentioned it. I believe Slasher also mentioned it. And in the ads, you don't actually see anything about Red Bull. You just see a Ninja advertisement. And so that kind of rubs people the wrong way because then they think, oh, Ninja's just running an ad and he's stealing our viewers, and he already has a lot of viewers. Why does he need more? And he tweeted about this. He said, the event is going to be broadcasted to millions of people. It's Times Square on New Year's Eve. That's a valid statement. And continue to grant exposure to Twitch, which in turn allows other streamers to gain more viewers. What's not to like, or is it just because it's me? And so Ninja eventually deleted this tweet, or probably very quickly deleted this tweet. But his point was, are you mad because I already have a bunch of viewers and you're upset I'm getting advertising? He probably realized that this wasn't the best approach to take and did delete the tweet, but this was his initial stance. Now, Ninja has gotten a lot of criticism and a lot of hate and everything, and part of that probably is due due to being so popular. So there are definitely two sides to this. Yes, Twitch is getting additional exposure, but yes, it is also kind of taboo to advertise another stream on your own. So there's a lot of discussion about this going on, and we'll have to see what policy Twitch takes moving forward. But what it seems to be is if you pay for an ad, then the ad is there to stay. And so for streamers and gamers and players and everything, you'll have to pay close attention to your contract. Otherwise, you have no control over what ads Twitch is running on your stream. Now, another point of discussion that we won't go into too much detail on, but sort of just food for thought. If you were wondering what the current debates are in the Overwatch community, a lot of people are talking about introducing bans into the competitive mode. So if you look at a lot of other games, CSGO has bans for the map pool, Dota and League both have hero bans, Rainbow Six from this tweet has operator bans. And now some people in Overwatch are arguing that if you had bans, you would reduce hero diversity because you don't have as many characters to pick from. But a lot of other people are really speaking up and saying, no, this allows for the development of new strategies. It's going to raise the skill ceiling. You're going to get a lot more options, and it will really improve the game and push it to take the next step. This is something that Overwatch, from a hardcore esports point of view, has been criticized for. It has a rather stagnant meta a lot of times, and the games are not always as exciting to watch. So a lot of proponents for developing Overwatch into a more traditional esport for what we're used to, or raising the competitive level, especially with something with Overwatch League with so much money being invested, are really advocating for bans, whereas, other people are concerned about diversity of the game. Now, I'd like to thank the little note that WSOE has announced its next tournament, by the way, so we'll amend my statement earlier, and it will be Rocket League. And so, hopefully, on the Rivalry Weekly, we'll be talking about some Rocket League shortly when WSOE has that event. Now to jump back into Overwatch. So Overwatch League has added several new teams. So I believe it is 8 teams are added to the roster for the upcoming season. Toronto, Vancouver, DC, Atlanta, Chengdu, Hangzhou, Guangzhou, sorry, my pronunciation there might be a little bit struggling, and Paris have all claimed teams, and these are split into 2 divisions. So this is a pretty significant expansion on the league, and they also significantly upped the buy-in to the league. So if you check out the Wikipedia page, because yes, Overwatch League has one, which is a great source of information, you can see what the buy-ins were. And so I believe first round buy-ins were around 20 million, and this round of franchising buy-in and everything for these teams, I believe, was in the $50 to $60 million range, which is quite significant. And so we'll have to see exactly what Overwatch League can do with this next season. And now traditionally the games have all been played from a Blizzard arena in LA. And the idea of franchising and having regional teams is to mimic something like what we see with, say, in America with the NFL, where you have football games in a city, and people in that city love those teams and follow them and go to their games and fill up a stadium. And so that's kind of the goal of Overwatch and the style that it's taking. We're obviously not at that stage yet. However, there will be something called homestand weekends, where there will be some matches played away from the Blizzard Stadium that you can, kind of see in your home city. And so Dallas has already had a team, and Atlanta's one of the new teams. And so there will be an Overwatch weekend in these cities at different dates.
Annoying striker, or ignoring him for the time being. Harvest knocked away. Jesse gets aggressive with the fusion. Realize they're going to try and hold up.
Are you kidding me? This guy is going to single-handedly change the point back over to NYE. Oh!
So that's just a little ad that Atlanta Reign put out, and I haven't seen if there's one from Dallas yet, so I don't know what the dates are for that. But this is kind of the first step in Overwatch League really establishing itself as a franchise. So hopefully this will invigorate the league, bring new fans, something along those lines, because there's definitely a little bit of struggle right now. As you saw kind of discussed on, I believe, the first episode of The Cooldown with Nahaz, Richard Lewis, and Sir Scooch, they talked about Overwatch League as an investment property and not really as a fan-based property. So we'll have to see if the league can grow and really pay off for that level of investment. So back to WSOE, before the Fortnite event that we discussed, they did have a Hearthstone event. And this Hearthstone event was with 16 of the best women who play Hearthstone in the world. And so they were divided into 4 groups, and then they played GSL, and a double elimination bracket, I believe. And so first place was taken by Gia. Second place was Songbird, and then Slissa and Pathra came in that 3rd to 4th place finish. So it was a $30,000 tournament run by WSOE, so Gia took home $17,000. And it's interesting to see how these prize pool percentage splits work at different tournaments. If you'll remember from WSOE Fortnite, it was a $100,000 prize pool with $40,000 going to first place, where in this case it's a $30,000 prize pool with $17,000 going to first place. So it's kind of interesting to see how that split works. I have no idea how it's decided, but I thought that would be a fun thing to point out. And so Hearthstone, cool. And then, as I mentioned before, the next WSOE, thank you to people in chat, is going to be a Rocket League event. Now, PUBG is a game that was getting the attention before that Fortnite is getting now. Not quite to the same levels, but they broke a lot of records as far as concurrent players and total games purchased, and they blew Valve and Steam charts and everything out of the water. And then they saw a steep decline. They have performance issues. They have issues with hackers. There's performance issues, there's server lag, there's balance issues, there's, the gameplay being very, very slow. There's a lot of problems that were coming with PUBG. So it was new and exciting and shiny, and then sort of lost a lot of its appeal, with Fortnite definitely taking over. Now, PUBG is really trying to establish a competitive scene. They're developing regional leagues, they're running a lot of tournaments, and they're adding a lot of structure to their game. Now, with that came a rather large update that banned, I believe it was tens of thousands of players from the game with new anti-cheat software that can detect cheating. Now, a lot of people that were not cheating also kind of got flagged by the system, and they had to manually investigate, especially the pro players. However, the PUBG esports Twitter did put out this announcement that 4 preseason teams had been found with players using cheats during the NPL online qualifiers. So those 4 players teams have been disqualified. So Almost, Death Row, Reapers, and Totality have all been disqualified. And then so 4 teams have been replaced in that now. So they drew 4 teams from the open qualifiers to take over those team slots. Because one player was cheating, it's enough to disqualify them, as makes sense. Those 4 players are facing 3-year suspensions from PUBG. 3 years might as well be a lifetime, because it is not the most likely that esports survive that long. There are some esports that have great longevity, and now that esports are becoming more and more of something to be invested in, there's a chance that PUBG will still be around, but they will have to switch to other games and face, these allegations of cheating for quite some time, potentially ruining their career. We'll have to see what happens. There are CSGO players and Dota players and, other players who have not had careers ruined by cheating scandals, but it certainly makes things more challenging. Now, to lighten things up a little bit, we just have a dose of drama for you guys, this time from the Smash community. And so Salem, a well-known Smash player, made a statement that Melee has never been a part of the rest of the Smash community. And, he got called out for this, and he said, "I'm a Smash player, Melee isn't part of the community, and I'm saying that off of years of research." This is based off of years of research, in which he put out a twitlonger, which we love twitlongers in esports. They're so much fun. As much as, Smash is an esport, sometimes they yell at us when we call them that, but I'm going to put them in that category. My apologies. And the twitlonger detailed a bunch of I'm gonna, you know, with my opinion, say hazy, anecdotal things and ripped on a few players rather specifically. And it was not a very well-received argument to the point where the bottom tweet that I'm showing up on the screen has turned into kind of a copy-paste meme for Twitch and everything. So Salem didn't really get a lot of support on this, but there was a lot of kind of drama and explosion happening before Christmas in the Smash community that was amusing to follow along with. So away from Smash over to Artifact, the game that everybody totally loves and is talking about and is really, really excited. One of the founding tenets of Artifact is that they were going to make cards, and these cards were going to have value, and you have to kind of spend a decent amount of money on the game to get these cards to be able to play. And it was styled after a physical card game, like Magic. It was styled a lot like Magic, essentially. It's you buy the cards, you buy card packs and open them, and you trade, and cards are never changed. If a card is truly imbalanced or overpowered, then it gets banned from competitive play. And that was the model that Valve and the Artifact team wanted to operate on. However, there were several cards and mechanics, you know, the Cheat Death, I think is the one that people are loving, that were not well balanced. And everyone was complaining, and people really weren't playing Artifact. If you remember on the last episode, I showed you the player numbers. The peak was about 60,000, and then the concurrence at the time was 8,000. So the game is definitely not being highly played right now. As far as a Valve game goes, having 8,000 concurrent players is not exactly what they were shooting for. And so they changed their strategy, and they said, hey guys, we are going to actually balance cards. Never mind, we realized we were wrong, and we can't make cards perfect the first time around, so we're going to do our best to balance them. And then they also added skill ratings and ability to level up your account, and then, you know, their little fun things to kind of incentivize people to keep playing. So this happened, I believe, before Christmas, and I took a look at the Steam charts the other day on a holiday, when everybody should be off from work and have all the time to play video games that they want. And now the 24-hour peak has gone from 8,000 down to 6,469. So Valve may have tried to introduce some balance changes and get some players back, but it might be a little too late. Now, there is a silver lining here in that CSGO wasn't the most popular game when it was released, and eventually, through many iterations, Valve did manage to, you know, catch up. And obviously now we see CSGO as a thriving, very healthy game. And so Artifact obviously has some time. The big thing that we'll have to see are just tournaments. Typically with Valve games, esports is kind of the advertising. They don't really do advertising otherwise. And so there was a promised $1 million tournament in January for Artifact that, of course, we've heard nothing about, so I don't think we're going to see that as we are into January and have seen no tournament announcements as of yet, but we'll just have to wait and see. So the game could grow. It hasn't been out that long, and so we'll have to see if popular professional players, like, you know, popular Hearthstone streamers, give it a try and maybe bring more people in, or if tournaments will bring the numbers. So Artifact remains to be seen how that's going. And so if we take a look at some of the upcoming tournaments that you guys can tune into, the CSGO Minors starting up. So those are running January 16th to 26th. And then for Dota 2, you can watch the Minor from the 9th to the 13th. And then I don't have it up here, but of course the Major will be following that. And so that will be interesting to see. So thank you for watching this episode of Rivalry Weekly.